Hashtag Lecture 2. Why the Sabbath Pond Test Matters. This lesson is part of the course Islamic Banking and the Sabbath Pond Test. It follows the scholarly preprint closely and presents the argument as research analysis, not as a fatwa and not as personal financial advice. The course moves from the documentary overview into the research question, method, and substance test. 1. Abstract. This paper re-examines the practices of modern Islamic banking through the lens of classical Islamic economic principles. By applying what we term the Sabbath Pond Test, a metaphor derived from the Quranic narrative of a community that deceptively circumvented the Sabbath law, we assess whether contemporary Islamic financial products truly avoid the substance of riba, usury, or merely its form. Drawing on Quranic injunctions, prophetic Hadith, and Hanafi jurisprudence, including works like Ahkam al-Quran, Kitab al-Amal, Kitab al-Kharaj, and Usul al-Shashi. The paper critically analyzes a case study of an Islamic mortgage structure that imitates an interest-bearing loan via sale, lease, and buyback arrangements. We then present classical, interest-free financing alternatives such as musharaka and mudaraba, as well as public finance measures from early Islamic history that prioritized risk-sharing and social welfare. The study finds that while Islamic banks like Mizan Bank claim Sharia compliance by contract technicalities, there is an urgent need for greater transparency and alignment with the maqasid, objectives, of Sharia, emphasizing justice and economic substance over form. 2. Introduction. Modern Islamic banking arose to fulfill Muslim demands for financial services free from riba, usury, or interest, which is explicitly prohibited in the Quran, Quran 2:275-279. Institutions like Pakistan's Mizan Bank offer products structured to avoid a direct interest charge, using sale, lease, or partnership contracts instead of conventional loans. However, Islamic finance has been dogged by criticism that it sometimes merely relabels interest-bearing loans in legalistic ways, achieving the same result as conventional finance while claiming Sharia compliance. This issue has raised the question of form versus substance. Do these Islamic products genuinely uphold the spirit of the Sharia, or do they resemble the Sabbath, ruse of bygone communities who observed the letter of the law but betrayed its intent? The Sabbath Pond Test is a metaphor we adopt from the Quranic account in Surah Al-Araf 7:163-166. In that narrative, a community of Banu Israel was forbidden to fish on the Sabbath, yet they laid out nets the day before to catch fish by subterfuge. They were technically avoiding fishing on the holy day, but in reality they enjoyed its fruits, an act of divine disobedience that earned severe punishment. Quran 7:163-166. 2 hours 65 minutes. 7:166. This parable warns against clever legal stratagems, that violate the spirit of a law while keeping its letter. By analogy, if Islamic banks only superficially replace the word interest with profit or rent, without altering the exploitative or risk-free nature of the transaction, they may be repeating the error of the Sabbath breakers. 2.1. Methodology. To explore this, we conduct a qualitative analysis of Islamic banking structures in light of classical sources. Key primary references include the Quran and authentic Hadith, with a focus on verses and narrations about riba, economic justice, and legal trickery. We also review works of early Islamic scholarship in economics and jurisprudence. Abu Bakr al-Jassas's Ahkam al-Quran, a Hanafi exegesis. Abu Ubaid's Kitab al-Amal, Book of Wealth. Imam Abu Yusuf's Kitab al-Kharaj, Book of Taxation. And Usul al-Shashi, a Hanafi legal theory text. These sources provide insight into how Islam's original jurists understood prohibitions like riba and the importance of intent and public welfare in financial dealings. We then scrutinize Mizan Bank's product literature, e.g. Mizan Bank's Guide to Islamic Banking by Dr. Imran A. Usmani, to understand how these products are structured and justified. Finally, a case study of an Islamic home financing arrangement is evaluated step by step to test whether its substance differs from a conventional mortgage. This research is timely and needed because Islamic finance is at a crossroads. It faces growing expectations to deliver ethical, equitable financing rather than simply mimicking conventional banking with Arabic terminology. By revisiting classical juristic wisdom, we aim to distinguish genuinely permissible financial practices from those that are Sharia compliant in form but not in substance. The findings are intended to contribute to the discourse on how Islamic banks can better align with the ethical and socioeconomic objectives, maqasid, of Sharia, beyond mere contract mechanics. As you listen, keep the course question in view. Does the structure change the economic substance, or does it only change the route by which the same result is reached? This completes the lesson. In the next step of the course, we continue applying the same standard: real ownership, real liability, real risk sharing, and transparent economic substance.